Hey guys, it's Amelia with Madera Farms. Today I'm going to show you what I do for my refrigerator pickle recipe. I'm here in the garden, we're going to harvest some cucumbers, and then I will take you in our kitchen and we will put the ingredients together for the refrigerator. Let's get started. So first we have our cucumbers here. I have 6. These are pickling cucumbers, so they're a little bit shorter. This one I left grow a little too long, so this one's gonna be pretty big. Just before we get started, a few things. I have my mason jars sterilized. Because we're not doing any sort of water bath canning or pressure canning, these are just refrigerator pickles. I just boil them to sterilize them. You don't need to keep them in the water. I use the larger mason jar just because we go through a lot of pickles, but I have a smaller one here, and you can see you can use any of them. So there are a few different things to keep in mind before you get started. First, you want to use a pickling cucumber. You have to have your garlic, your onion, and then we'll go through all the spices as we go. You can decide if you want to cut your pickles in chips or if you want to do like halves or whatever you want. The good thing to keep in mind is if you want them to be like sandwich pickles, just to cut the top and bottom off, obviously, so that the vinegar and everything can soak into the pickle, but make sure it's not any taller than your jar, so obviously when you stick it in and then you put the lid on, it's going to seal. You're not going to have to worry about the lid not fitting. But I'm going to do chips today. We eat those the most in our sandwiches, so let's get started on. So you're going to use like 6 cloves of garlic. So I have all of these here. These are pretty big, so 4 will be fine. This recipe is super simple. Like I started making these like 2 years ago, and they're delicious and it's simple. You don't have to worry about any sort of like canning process. It's very, very simple. Now what you could do also is if you have more of like a dried garlic, you could just stick a clove or a clove of garlic in each pickle jar. But my brine I actually cook, so I like to mince up the garlic so that that really gets into the brine. So just chop it up very fine. It cooks in, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because Lord knows I'm not the best cook. I'm trying. You know, like on those chef shows where they're like cutting super fast. Yeah, that would totally be me, just cutting my finger off. And I don't like to use like, I guess you could use a mandolin for certain things, but I've had a very traumatic experience with a mandolin slicer. I like sliced off the top of my finger 2 years ago, and ever since I'm like deathly afraid to use the thing. I guess it was my fault. I wasn't using the guard, but I love this smell. I wish you guys could smell this. I need like a cooking class, like a professional how to cut garlic. I'm sure this isn't the right way. There's probably some of you watching, you're like, oh my gosh, what the hell is she doing? So then just put this all into your pot. Next, we're gonna chop the onion. You wanna have 1/3 cup of onion. It's my 1/3 cup. Same thing, chop it up really fine. I didn't grow, these aren't my onions that I grew, they're not ready yet, but the garlic is from my friend Amanda's garden, and if you guys have not seen that video, I'll put it in the description below. That video is awesome. They show you how they grow 150 heads of garlic in a 4x4 area, just pretty sweet. So then I will just package that up, put it in the refrigerator. We don't need the rest of that. I'm guessing this is 1/3 cup. I'll also put a link. I have this whole recipe written out on our website, so I'll put a link in the description for that too. So if you guys want to follow that, you can. So those all go in there. Next, you want 1/2 tablespoon of mustard seed. I use the organic mustard seed. Next is going to be the dill. If you grow your own, you can definitely use that. I didn't this year, so I went and bought some more organic dill. This is going to be 3 to 4 tablespoons. I do 4 just because I love the dill. So let's throw that in. As you can tell, I'm not like specific. I just kind of do whatever works. But 2 cups of vinegar. Make sure you're using the clear vinegar. The apple cider vinegar will work. I did that on my last batch. I used apple cider vinegar and it gave kind of a sweeter taste to the pickle. Wasn't bad. But if you use regular vinegar, you'll get that very like kosher dill pickle taste. So 1/2 cup of salt. And then 1.5 quarts of water. If you don't have a quart jar, you can always do like 6 cups of water as well. Okay, once you put all of your ingredients into your pot, you're gonna put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then let it cook for a few minutes, stirring occasionally. You don't want anything to stick to the bottom of your pan. Alright, as I'm stirring, waiting for this to boil and all of the salt to disintegrate, I figured I would just take this little bit of opportunity to thank you guys so much for watching. This is kind of like a passion project of mine, and I really have always enjoyed sharing content, and I think, you know, a lot of people are interested in, you know, making their own food and stuff, so I think you know, this could be something cool, and I really like doing it, so I appreciate your guys' support. now that it's at a boil, I'm going to take it off the stove, and then I'm going to put a rag over top of it, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about an hour to let it cool off. You want it to be cool to the touch before you pour it into your jar of pickles. So I'm going to set this into the refrigerator right now. Typically I let it sit here for a minute just to get off all that initial steam. You can also stir it a little bit just to get out any excess steam. The reason you put the rag over top is because all of this condensation is going to sit in your refrigerator, and obviously everything's going to get kind of damp, so I just put a rag over top to catch all of that. While my brine is in the refrigerator, I'm going to chop up my cucumbers and put them into my jars. Make sure to chop off the ends, do not use those. Now that the brine is cooled, I'm going to pull it out of the refrigerator, fill our jar. Alright, you want to make sure that it's cool to the touch, and then we'll fill the jars. Okay, so now that our jars are filled, for the next 3 days, I'm going to leave these out on the counter. Each day, I'm just going to turn them and shake them. Tomorrow, I will leave the jars upside down like this to get everything filled through all of the cucumbers. And then on day 3, you'll just throw them into the refrigerator and they'll be good for about 6 months. We definitely don't keep them longer than that. If you guys like these videos and want me to keep making garden recipes, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching.